Recording in progress.
Welcome into the latest episode of the Betting the Pitch Soccer Podcast. I'm your host, Real_G Warner. It's late night with Real_G Warner per usual. It is nearing 1 a.m. here in Dallas, Texas on Saturday, February 8th, but we have a lot of soccer matches to go through Saturday, Sunday, Monday, the FA Cup in England, and then the rest of the regular league play in La Liga in Spain, Serie in Italy, Ligue in France, and in the German Bundesliga. We are 29-10, 74% on our best bets year to date. I take my favorite pick from each of the leagues, and then I will smash it all together. 1 minute video at the Real_G Warner on Instagram and on YouTube, and then pick one of my favorites, and that's what we get graded on. So we're going to start and try to make this as brief of an episode as possible. They never seem to be brief. I also want to shout out recent Patreon subscribers, patreon.com/Real_G Warner if you want my picks across all sports, or leans or write-ups or all those sort of things, depending what you're into, of course. That's what the world is about. All of you that are coming in live, thank you for coming in late night especially. Do have a ton of college basketball work to do after we finish this. But if you want to throw some comments in here or anything you'd like me to go over, still debating, trying to get a props episode done with A_Snicker for the NFL Super Bowl edition. We do have a Super Bowl episode out, but then we're thinking about doing a props episode 2. We'll see. Just don't let me pick purple be the Gatorade color again, because I don't want to lose money doing that again, just like I did last season. So as I get the camera in view of the Inter Milan shirt I have on, I'm not really a fan, but I do like the colors, and they are the best team in Italy, so I'll stick with that. So let's go to this card for this weekend. That's probably the easiest way to do it, as soon as I can find it amongst my millions of tabs. Ex-girlfriend didn't really enjoy that, but so what? We'll start in the early matchup in the FA Cup in England. So we are in the round of 32. Still a long way to go, but the Premier League clubs care more about this cup competition than any of the rest. So keep that in mind. Leyton Orient, 2.25 goals to underdog to Manchester City, totals 3.5, just all the way to over. I don't have much of a lean on this one because I can't tell you anything about Leyton Orient. I just wonder about Manchester City at this point. I expect if they're ever going to show up and be angry, it's after a blowout loss to Arsenal, but we haven't seen that sort of response in a long time, so hard to say. Moving next to Leeds, hosting Millwall. Currently Leeds a 1-goal favorite with all the juice totals 2.25, juice all the way to over. Can't really tell you much about either of these teams. Moving next to a matchup that I'm very interested in, despite it being a Premier League side against a championship. We have Coventry. They're a pick'em right now at home to Ipswich. All the juice in Ipswich, Premier League promoted side that's trying to stay in the league. Doesn't look great for them, but certainly you could argue they might be looking at their next Premier League matchup a little bit more importantly than the FA Cup. Totals 2.5 in this one, juice pretty heavily to over. Coventry's my interest here. Put up Sky Blues. That's where I'm looking for the most. PUSB, I believe. I thought it was put up, but I could be wrong. Press up, point up, whatever it is. PUSB, PUSB. I really like Coventry here. They were initially a quarter goal underdog and have moved to pick them since then. I'm hoping that quarter goal comes back because that's the side I ultimately want. I'd love to see penalties or something like that with the underdog getting a quarter of a goal, or Coventry just knock out Ipswich and take them out of their misery. Next, we'll go to Preston hosting Wickham. Currently, Preston a quarter goal favorite with more juice. Totals 2.25, just all the way to over. Don't have much to say about this one. Wigan then hosts Fulham. Currently, Wigan 1.5 goal underdog at home. All the juice on Fulham away. Totals 2.75, juice more to the over. Fulham's been they're a great team in the Premier League, but they've kind of been struggling and then kind of ran into some inconsistency. Big favorite away from home. Should be pretty focused because they don't have much to worry about staying in the league. And we'll move on to Everton hosting Bournemouth. So this is finally a matchup of two Premier League sides. Have the door open, and I guess now it's time for the drag racing and then the emergency vehicles to follow. Don't know if they're related, but I wouldn't be shocked. Currently, Everton, quarter goal underdog at home to Bournemouth. All the juice on the Cherries away from home. Totals 2.5, juice slightly more to over, just a couple cents on BetOnline. If you're not a BetOnline or Sportsbetting.ag member, go get a 50% bonus to sign up. Or if there are links to the podcast description, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and on YouTube. Or if you want, just slide in my DMs at the Real_G Warner across any platform, and I'll get you a fresh link to go sign up. From an Everton perspective, they are going to try to win this game, not scoring many goals. That's their best chance to go through. Crowd is great. I think Bournemouth as a road favorite is a problem, but they've been playing so well until they ran into Liverpool, and I thought still outplayed Liverpool at home, but somehow just couldn't find the net, and Mohamed Salah certainly could. Justin Kluivert certainly couldn't. I think I'm mostly scared about playing a quarter goal underdog on Everton because I just don't trust they can score. So I think my biggest interest in this matchup is under 2.5. We'll move next to Stoke hosting Cardiff City. Currently Stoke City, a quarter goal favorite at home with all the juice. Totals 2.5, juice all the way to under. But I'm probably going to look at Cardiff a little bit closer on this one. I feel like they've been more competitive recently than Stoke have, but I guess that's something I need to figure out and look into a little bit deeper. Moving next to Southampton, hosting Burnley. Currently Southampton, half a goal favorite with all the juice. Totals 2.25, juice slightly more to over. Burnley under Sean Dyche for the most conservative team in the world, most pragmatic, if you will. Anti-football, if you'd like, or if you must. From a Burnley perspective, under Vincent Kompany, they became all of a sudden really attacking, and I think that was an ownership shift, change, all that sort of stuff. So I'm very curious about their trip to Southampton. Southampton is a favorite when they got a big win in the Premier League last weekend, but they should be more worried about staying in the league because they're currently English Premier League bottom and have looked like the worst team in the world. The difference is that they don't have to play a Premier League level side, and that probably means they can play a little bit more with their football. I'm a forever believer in Ivan Juric, at least for an under bet involved with him. And so for that reason, I'm still very interested in Southampton at home, playing a more concise, less challenged game against a Burnley side. The big question is what Southampton will use. Hopefully they're trying to ride the momentum of last week. I still don't trust them to score much. I'm just really looking for Southampton unders when they're not going to give up a ton of obvious, stupid, really horrible goals. I don't think Burnley can really do that to them. So I'm interested in under 2.25 in that matchup on Saturday morning here in the United States. Move next to Birmingham City. They're hosting Newcastle. Currently Birmingham, a 1-goal underdog at home with more juice. Totals 2.75, juice slightly more to over. Newcastle are terrifying, especially against a lower level side. They're worse away from home, but who isn't? Into the nightcap, Brighton hosts Chelsea. Currently Brighton quarter goal underdog at home. More juice on Chelsea. Totals 3.25, juiced pretty heavily to under right now. I'm not impressed with Chelsea at all in the last few weeks. Nico Jackson had a little bit of a knock injury, something like that. Got subbed off pretty early in the 50th minute against West Ham on Monday, but I think that was more because he was horrible and just misses so many chances. Not that that's ever been different. That's what he's doing at Villarreal. It's certainly what he's done at Chelsea as well. I feel like Brighton, they've been more disappointing versus against the spread because, well, I think both have been pretty poor against the spread recently. At least Chelsea are higher in the table. But Brighton haven't been performing. I think the quarter goal underdog I'm interested in. I'm concerned about the amount of goals that Chelsea can ship, also the amount that they can score. Though Brighton have not been, they're not managed by Roberto De Zerbi anymore, so they can't be as attacking because he's the most attacking manager I've ever seen, even from his days at Sassuolo or Shakhtar Donetsk or currently now at Marseille in France. I think at this point, I'm interested in the home underdog, but I think I'm more interested in under 3.25, especially since it's above 3. I am a little concerned about who's going to play in this matchup. Probably Steele if he's healthy for Brighton in the goal. Not sure he's a huge downgrade to Verbruggen though at this point, and maybe Bob Sanchez comes back in for Chelsea. Though I kind of hope we see Jorgensen because he actually can stop something and doesn't just put the ball in the back of his net like Rob Sanchez does every time. Though they have a hilarious commercial about how his insights in the goal prevent bad things from happening, yet he actually brings them all upon himself. We'll move to Sunday, and we're not caring about Championship or League One or League Two, I guess. So let's move to Blackburn Rovers, 3/4 goal underdog right now at home to Wolverhampton Wanderers. I guess I screwed that up because they should be in my tweet, but they're not. Oops. Blackburn Rovers, 3/4 goal underdog at home. Totals 2.5, juiced more the under. Wolves are in a big fight to get out of relegation. They've already sacked a manager who I thought was really competent, capable, all those sort of things. Now they go on the road to a lower division side. A lot of questions about their motivation here. So I think, if anything, my biggest interest here is in Blackburn, a 3/4 goal underdog at home. And I guess to that end, I'll lean under 2.5 as well. Moving to Plymouth, hosting Liverpool next on the slate. 2.25 goal underdog are Plymouth. Totals 3.5, juiced pretty heavily to under right now. Not looking to fade Liverpool with a lower division side. To the nightcap on Sunday, we have Aston Villa hosting Tottenham. Currently, Aston Villa 3/4 goal favorite with more juice. Totals 3.25, juice more to the under. Tottenham have looked a lot more pragmatic lately. I don't know if I believe it. I don't know if we're going to have to see a lot more of it. And coming off of their Carabao Cup semifinal second leg on the road at Liverpool. There's a lot to think about with them and what that lineup's going to look like. I'm interested in under 3.25 at best, but I really don't know who's going to play. Moving to Monday, Doncaster hosts Crystal Palace. Currently, Doncaster 1.75 goal underdog at home with more juice. Total is 3, juice more to the over. Crystal Palace is a big road favorite. Seems like a major XX warning sign. I just don't know that enough about Doncaster nor how to pronounce it. Last but not least, on Tuesday, we have Exeter hosting Nottingham Forest. Currently, Exeter 1.75 goal underdog at home with a little bit more juice. Total is 3.25. Juice very heavily to under. I think all I could look for is under 3.25 here. Nottingham Forest, they're going to have to. I can't imagine that they will be sitting back in defense, but then again, it's worked so well for them in the Premier League. Why would you change? But maybe they get some practice in. Who knows what the lineup's going to look like? Long way away till Tuesday, but we shall see. So I guess we're going all the way to Tuesday, February 11th on this episode of Betting the Pitch, the soccer edition. For my best bet in England, there is in the FA Cup, because that's all we're covering on this episode because the English Premier League is off for an entire weekend in interesting fashion. But I guess that's how important the FA Cup is to everyone in the Queensland or something like that. For my best bet, I'm going to go with, I think I'm the Romance of Coventry. I'll take them as a pick 'em. I love the setup. I think Ipswich, if they play their best, maybe they're looking to build momentum, but I could see some early substitutions or, God forbid, someone gets hurt and they get nervous and pull more players off. So I'll put Coventry, a pick 'em currently, getting odds. Hopefully will be a quarter goal underdog before kickoff. Moving now to Spanish La Liga. We'll start with, as soon as this will open. Come on, baby. Okay, well, that didn't open, so let's try another avenue. Okay, we'll start with Celta de Vigo hosting Real Betis. Currently, Celta, a quarter goal favorite with more juice. Totals 2.25, juice all the way to over. And Real Betis have been struggling. Difference is they were at home for a potentially tired and limited because no Nico Williams, Athletic Club last weekend, and they probably deserved to win, but didn't get one. Did draw, though, and that covered the spread if you played their underdog price, their Asian handicap. Celta Vigo have been really struggling without Iago Aspas. That's just who they are. That's their talisman, and without him, they don't play very well. For that reason, I'm interested in Real Betis, quarter goal underdog, and the under 2.25. They haven't really been playing a lot of unders lately. Athletic Club, speaking of, then they host Girona. Currently, Athletic Club, a 3/4 goal favorite with more juice away. Totals 2.5, juice all the way to under. Girona are an under team to me. They somehow find some goals, and they don't really seem deserved, and then they don't really seem like a great team either. Going to San Mamés, which has not been a bad spot for underdogs for years, might be this year. We'll see about the status of Nico Williams and Iñaki Williams. They're so important. The pace on the wings. I think under 2.5 is my biggest interest in this one, though it's not a strong lean at the moment and looks like it's going to fall to 2.25. Moving next to Las Palmas, was in Villarreal. Currently, Las Palmas, a 3/4 goal underdog at home. All the juice on Villarreal. Total is 3, just all the way to under. Las Palmas are a much better team at home, as everyone is, and Villarreal have big goal leaking troubles. So I lean to Las Palmas. Would love to get him full goal of insurance at home. I think they're better than this number looks like, but Villarreal have been scoring a lot. I just don't trust their defense, so give me the home underdog, 3/4 of a goal underdog on Las Palmas. Las Palmas y Hace Union, something like that. Anyway, Real Sociedad, nope, they're coming up later. Real Madrid, they host Atletico Madrid in the biggest matchup in La Liga this weekend by far. Two teams that are going in probably very different directions. One had a dominant Copa del Rey win this week. The other was struggling with Leganés away. I guess Atleti were home, so that helped. But they blasted a Getafe team that formerly had a great defense, but was working in some new players. Real Madrid currently a half a goal favorite at home with more juice on Atleti. Totals 2.75, juice more to the over. I think at this point, I'm pretty interested in just fading Real Madrid at all costs, especially with a good team that can actually play with them. I think Atleti are better, and I'll take a road draw as a great move for Atletico de Madrid to win La Liga, especially with all the complaints from Real Madrid about officiating, which is absolutely hilarious considering how they just get babied and get all the calls. That's all the big clubs do across Europe. We'll move to Sunday, and we have Alaves, a quarter goal favorite at home to Getafe. Totals 1.75, just more to the over. Tiny total as it should be. I lean to Getafe getting the quarter of a goal. Would love to see under 2. Don't think we'll see it though. like to be against Alaves. And I guess the only way to do it for me right now with that rule about no unders below 2 is to take the Getafe underdog. Valencia then hosts Leganés. Currently, Valencia 3-quarter goal favorite. Almost all the juice on Leganés away from home. Total is 2, just all the way to over. And here is a big contest of two teams that have been, Valencia are fighting relegation. Leganés are a promoted side trying to fight it or stay away from it as much as possible. They both played Copa del Rey midweek. Leganés played a day earlier. Huge for them. Big benefit. While Valencia both played home games, but Valencia then played a day later with Barcelona in their Mestalla. I'll lean to under 2. Valencia got a good win last weekend in La Liga, but I'm not a believer in that. Real Sociedad, a 1-goal favorite to Espanyol. Totals 2.25, and it's juiced very heavily to under. A lot of juice on Espanyol right now. I think Espanyol's been playing well. They've been awful away from home, though. It's hard to back that. I think the Real Sociedad unders are generally a side I want to be on. They'll control this game. Should see no difference here with Espanyol. How many goals can be scored by Real Sociedad? I think 2 is the maximum, so you need some help from Espanyol. Or you need Espanyol to score them all and hit over. I'll go under 2.25 in that matchup. Lean to the full goal of insurance on Espanyol as well. To the nightcap on Sunday, Sevilla hosting Barcelona. Currently Sevilla, 1.25 goal underdog at home with all the juice. Total is 3.25, just a split both ways. If there's ever time to play an under with a Barcelona side, it's going against Sevilla, especially away from home with a manager who wants to play the way Barca do and keep the ball away from them is really his plan. It's worked really well. Killed it at Las Palmas last season. Sevilla, I think, will be better for it, but they're forever in a disaster trying to live up to the past, and they probably won't be there for a while. Lean to the 1.25 at home. Any home team getting more than a goal can lose by a single goal and still cover. That's a very interesting thing to me. But I think there's more safety in under 3.25 because I don't really expect Sevilla to score much. The problem is playing unders with Barcelona is so difficult. Moving next, last on this La Liga card is Mallorca hosting Osasuna. Currently Mallorca, a 0.5 goal favorite at home. All the juice on Osasuna. Total is 2, juice all the way to under. I lean to Osasuna because they're coming off Copa del Rey themselves, and it's tough to go to the island. But Mallorca have not looked good since 2025 started. I think under 2 is probably my biggest interest in that matchup, though. However, for my best bet in La Liga in Spain, I'm going to go with that Atletico Madrid 0.5 goal underdog on the road at Real Madrid. That's where we're at. Let's see. Did I update this? Let's see. I hope so. I don't know. So let's just open a new window. We'll move now to Spanish Serie A as the fatigue is starting to hit. Had a big networking event on Thursday night, and I've not stopped talking since, it feels like. All right, we'll start in Serie A with Verona, a 1-goal underdog at home to Atalanta. Total is 2.75. Just more to the juice is actually split both ways in this one. Verona have been playing better as of late. I think we can always see a desire show up second half of the season for them, it seems. And there's some money coming in at Atalanta, who have not been great in Serie A. Had Coppa Italia midweek, a home match with Bologna. That went down to the wire. So to me, I feel like there's a lot to look toward with Verona as the home underdog here. Scary to go against Atalanta, but they haven't been playing great. They do have Champions League to focus upon next week too. So that all points in that direction that I want. I lean to under 2.75 here as well. It's bigger than the number I made by some fraction, but ultimately I think there's some problems with scoring goals right now for Atalanta. So Verona +1, under 2.75. I like them both. All right, more highway sounds. I didn't realize it was so loud. Maybe I should shut this next time. If anyone hates it, tell me if you're getting interference. Moving next on Saturday, Empoli hosting AC Milan. Currently Empoli, a 3-quarter goal underdog at home. Almost all the juice on Milan. Totals 2.75, juice all the way to under. Empoli with a 1-0 lead into the 60th minute against Juventus last weekend. We're the better side. We're dominating, and then fell apart, got tired, made some substitutions that didn't work, and then things started piling up and got worse and worse and worse. Milan have not been playing well, probably not as, they've sacked their manager, so you can argue they've been playing worse than Juventus because they've kept Thiago Motta there. So that certainly was a harder, I guess both managers started this year, but still. I think from a gambling perspective, because this is the podcast is for, I'm pretty interested in the home underdog here and the under. They correlate. And the big question I got to figure out is how much do I believe in Conceição, the new manager for Milan? I don't think I believe in him yet. To the nightcap, Torino, a 1/4 goal favorite to Genoa. Total is 2, juice very heavily to under. I guess it feels like a small total, but it should be because Genoa's defense has been great. They haven't been scoring much. Torino could say the same thing. I don't know how good their defense has been. They've just been disappointing, and I think it's because they don't have Ivan Juric in their technical area, though he might be available sometime soon from Southampton. I think that bridge has been burned, however. I think my interest, I lean to the underdog, quarter of a goal and under 2 correlated, of course, and I think that betting against the Torino offense is kind of what I want to do. I don't know that I want to bet on the Genoa offense. You kind of do that as a quarter goal underdog. Goalless would be great, but it's hard to rely on that sort of thing. So I'll put both underdog and under down, but probably lean to under 2 is a lot more safety there. Moving to Sunday, Venezia hosting Roma. Currently Venezia 3/4 goal underdog at home with more juice on Roma away. Totals 2 3/4. Juice very heavily to under. Really early start for Roma coming off a Coppa Italia midweek. Venezia, who are just trying to stay in this league, great situation for them. So I love the 3/4 of a goal, especially considering Roma struggles away. Lean to the under 2 3/4 as well, but I think I like the side better here than anything. Cagliari then hosts Parma. Currently, Cagliari a half a goal favorite at home with more juice. Totals 2 3/4, just almost all the way to over. Parma's having some problems. They're trying to stay in this league. Cagliari, I thought, played fairly well against Lazio, but struggled on Monday. Not as quick of a turnaround, fortunately for them, but ultimately equalized and looked like they might have held on to a draw, but conceded late and couldn't get back into it. As a home favorite of half of a goal, it feels gigantic for Parma, or for Cagliari. So I'm interested in the Parma side and lean to under 2 3/4. Would love to see this hit 3 because I just don't think Parma is the slobber knocker. Well, that's probably not the right word. They're not the buck wild offense that they had been in the past. Moving next to Lazio, hosting Monza. Currently Lazio 1 1/4 goal favorite with all the juice. Totals 2 3/4, just pretty heavily to under. Monza looked like a team that they're going down. Manager left and for Fiorentina and they lost Maldini recently as well. I just feel like things have not gone well. Lazio have been killing teams for the first half of the season, then struggled since. But we're, I think, first place finishers in the Europa League. I'm not sure if you get a trophy for that, so I'm not sure how useful it is, but they are a better team, and I don't really want much to do with Monza at this point. Moving next to Lecce, hosting Bologna. Currently Lecce a half a goal underdog at home with all the juice on Bologna. Total is 2 1/4, juice very heavily to under. Lecce are starting to play a little bit better, but then they have huge problems, and they have that big drunk driving incident, I guess. Bologna on the other side, they moved so many players on and started to come on at the end of Champions League. It was really tough. They got a lot more exposure because they got a lot of matches together, but they lost so much talent, including their manager. I'm a little scared to be against Bologna right now. I think I want to back their defense, though, especially coming off Coppa Italia midweek. So I'll lean to Lecce. I guess the half of a goal looks like it could get to 3/4. Would love to get full goal of insurance, but I like under 2 1/4 more than anything. To the nightcap on Sunday, we have Napoli hosting Udinese. Currently, Napoli a 1 1/4 goal favorite. All the juice on Udine total is 2.5, and it is juice more to the under. Napoli playing one match a week because they're eliminated from Coppa Italia. They've been didn't qualify for anything in Europe after Scudetto, which is hilarious. But the nice part for them is they are in a pretty good shape where they are going to be as rested or more rested every match they play. Udinese are a huge underdog, as they should be. I think I lean to under 2.5 because the Udinese defense is my biggest concern in that one. To Monday, Inter Milan hosting Fiorentina, which Inter might be a little bit more relevant because I'm wearing a polo shirt from them that I wore to their Champions League match against Red Bull Salzburg way back when, a year ago. Inter, 1 1/4 goal favorite. All the juice on Fiorentina away. Totals 2 3/4, juice more to the over. These teams played, I believe, a makeup match from when Bove collapsed, I think. It just seems it happens multiple times a year now, so you never know when it'll occur. Inter are the best team, but Fiorentina is 1 1/4 is a huge underdog. It's very juicy at the moment. Maybe it falls to 1. I still like the full goal of insurance. I don't know that Inter have been as dominant this season, so I'm pretty interested in that road underdog and maybe a little bit in under 2 3/4, but I'd love to see that over juice turn into a 3 before kickoff on Monday. For my best bet in the Italian Serie A, I'm going to go with Venezia, 3/4 goal underdog. I think we might get a full goal, maybe, before kickoff early in the wee hours Sunday morning. I'll be certainly looking out for that. Hopefully it happens. Would love to be against Roma. Two leagues left to go, and then ultimate best bet coming end of show. 74% so far this season, 29-10. We'll start in Saturday in France. We'll go with Nice hosting Lens. Currently Nice, a 1/4 goal favorite. Almost all the juice on Lens. Totals 2 3/4, juice all the way to under. Lean to Lens as a quarter goal underdog. Lean to under 2 3/4 even more. At some point, Frank Hayes, who's a defensive manager, that's what he did at Lens last year. Someday that will turn into a defensive team like Nice, turning into a better defense, though they've been horrible and they were only a defense last year, leading and I think longest unbeaten in Ligue 1, but didn't win anything really, got to the Europa League and then finished like in last place. So it hasn't been a great year for them. But Frank Hayes going back to Lens is a big deal, I think, but I'm not sure that Lens visiting Nice really does much there. Maybe for the visiting traveling crowd, but it's a long way from the Côte d'Azur or from the northwestern side of France to the Côte d'Azur. I already said I like under, and I think I like the underdog as well here. We'll move to Lille, hosting Le Havre. Currently Lille, a 1.5 goal favorite with all the juice. Totals 2 3/4, juice all the way to over. Pretty good position for Le Havre coming into this matchup with Lille choking away I think 2-0 penalty kick lead and somehow losing amazing to Dunkirk, one of their local rivals, if you will. Not even a rival, probably. Lille could come out of this very angry and want to kill them, though they did rotate a fair amount. They played some of their better players, though. I think I'm leaning towards the 1.5 and the under 2 3/4, like the under more than anything. Le Havre are not really trustworthy to score, I don't think. And maybe they will learn from their red card last week in the first early stages of the match. To the Saturday nightcap, we have Saint-Etienne hosting Rennes, hosting Rennes, currently Stade Rennais, a quarter goal favorite away from home. Totals 2.5, juice all the way to under. Give me Saint-Etienne. Rennes with a late goal after doing nothing for an entire matchup, just panic shooting from outside the box. Less XG on like double the amount of shots that Strasbourg had given, but of course Strasbourg with a late concession, and Rennes got a huge win of their third manager of the season if they finally got rid of Sampaoli. Saint-Etienne, I've already fired some guy, but ultimately I think they are in a better position. They play much better at home, so give me the quarter goal at home, and I'm interested in under 2.5 there, though I think I like the side more. Lyon then hosts Reims on Sunday. Lyon 1.25 goal favorite. All the juice on Reims away. Total is 3, juice all the way to over. A big price, and I lean to Reims. They can certainly score goals, as can Lyon. Lyon have already changed managers, brought in Paulo Fonseca after he was sacked from Milan, formerly of Lille last season, and many other teams before that. I don't know necessarily. I mean, these two teams should be playing to score goals, and the total is gigantic, 3 in France, considering it doesn't involve PSG. But you might want to pay to see it because Lyon are really struggling. I mean, weren't able to close out a draw at Marseille last week, took a lead, fell behind 2-1, tied at 2-2, and lost 3-2. Lyon have been really struggling in Liga, and I don't see that changing necessarily as a big favorite at home, where their crowd is certainly known to be very, very difficult on the home team. Strasbourg then hosts Montpellier. Going Strasbourg, 3/4 goal favorite. All the juice on Montpellier away. Totals 2 3/4. Juice more to the under. Strasbourg are a young team that makes big mistakes. Montpellier, they're like the worst team in Ligue 1 and are fighting in their 50th season to stay in Ligue 1. It's a battle of misfit toys here. The Strasbourg are much more talented. I lean to Montpellier. They keep getting players bought away from them. They have no money, clearly. It's really hard. I guess I lean to the underdog. I think I want a full goal of insurance, and I'm not sure we're going to get it. We'll move next to Angers, hosting Toulouse. Currently, Angers, a quarter goal underdog at home. The juice totals 2.5, juice all the way to under. Toulouse have been really struggling. I wouldn't be surprised if they struggle here. Lean, especially coming off Coupe de France midweek. So give me Angers, a quarter goal underdog. And last but not least, Angers hosts Marseille in the nightcap. Marseille have been awesome away from home. They're a 1-goal favorite. All the juice at Angers totals 2.5, juice pretty heavily to over. Angers are, to me, I think they're playing great. So I really like the full goal of insurance. I don't think I want to play under because I think I'd rather have the side and see this be a high-scoring match that Angers try to hang in. That's not a great situation for a newly promoted side, especially one considering how well Marseille have done away from home, not having Europe to worry about this year. I think at this point, though, I do like Angers, and they've been playing great. We'll see if they can avoid an early red card, which is absolutely ridiculous, and I hope it was rescinded after Raul Soa was sent off for some guy rolling his ankle that he fouled, but it was not a red card. Ridiculous. From French Ligue 1, for my best bet, I'm going to go with Saint-Etienne, a quarter goal underdog at home. I really like that one, actually. So hopefully it stays there, or maybe, juice is a little bit high, but not not crazy in the sport, this godforsaken sport of juice. Last but not least, we'll go to the German Bundesliga, where I've been crushing it there lately. I think I was 4-2 last weekend after an 0-2 start, I want to say, and then I was 6-0 last weekend and finished 4-2 because of 2 late stoppage time goals. So ride the streak, ride the wave. Let's get into it. We'll start with Hoffenheim hosting Union Berlin. Currently, TSG Hoffenheim, a quarter goal favorite at home. More juice on the home team. Totals 2 3/4, just very heavily to under. Hoffenheim, they are probably playing still without Oliver Blaumann, their important goalkeeper, who's been injured, and the backup came right in and made a huge mistake early. But he's not going to have as much to worry about against Union Berlin versus a road game against Leverkusen. I think Union are going to probably try that 4-man back line again. They weren't great, but they got a point at home to RB Leipzig, and any point is getting them away from the bottom because they don't seem to win ever or get any points. I'll lean to Union Berlin getting a quarter of a goal, but I like that under 2 3/4 even more. Stuttgart Freiburg then hosts FC Heidenheim. Currently, Freiburg with 3/4 goal favorite with more juice. Slightly more juice. Totals 2 3/4, just almost all the way to over. I want to be against Freiburg, but I don't know that I can do it without a full goal of insurance on Heidenheim. I like their new signings, but their defense is slow. I don't know how they've aged 10 years in just 6 months, but it's happened. Freiburg, I don't trust them to score goals, though, either. I lean the Heidenheim away, but I'm looking to try to be against it because Freiburg have been very good at home, though not so good this year. Not under this new manager who doesn't seem to play the players that I would play if it was up to me, but I'm just a guy doing podcasts on a Friday night. Move next to Borussia Dortmund hosting VfL Stuttgart. Currently, Dortmund half a goal favorite at home with more juice away. Total 3 1/4, just all the way to under. Stuttgart coming off their DFB Pokal victory midweek. We'll see what their lineup looks like, and it's going to be tough against a new Niko Kovac team. But I want to be against Borussia Dortmund, no matter if they're home, away, on Mars, anywhere. And they have Champions League to look forward to while Stuttgart are out. Lean to under 3 1/4. I think Stuttgart go to this matchup and control the game. And I think that's going to be a big problem for Dortmund's defense. Moving next to Mainz 05 hosting Football Club Augsburg. Currently Mainz a 3/4 goal favorite at home. All the juice on Augsburg. Totals 2 1/4. Juice all the way to over. Mainz didn't have any games midweek. Augsburg, who are notorious for having a very thin team because they're one of the poor teams. They are... to me, I like under 2 1/4 here. It's a very low total, but it's that way for a reason. And I wouldn't look too far past that until it hits 2, but it doesn't look like the juice is going to go anywhere but up. VfL Wolfsburg then hosts Bayer Leverkusen. Wolfsburg a 3/4 goal underdog at home with almost all of the juice. Total is 3, just very heavily to under. I'm looking to be against Leverkusen. They are looking ahead to Bayern München coming up down the pike soon enough. Wolfsburg, I think, are great. They have a great style and strategy. I like Ralf Hasenhüttl. I really did it at Southampton as well. And I don't trust Leverkusen with a lead, especially coming off a derby match in the DFB Pokal midweek when they hosted Köln. Wolfsburg side I want to back. They certainly did well last weekend with a cover and an under last weekend against Eintracht Frankfurt away. Now they're at home. To the nightcap, we have Borussia Mönchengladbach and Eintracht Frankfurt. Frankfurt a slight favorite away from home at Pick'em. Totals 3 1/4, juiced very heavily to under. Playing unders with Gladbach seems like suicide. I do like Gladbach at home, though. They tend to win a lot of matches there. They don't win away, but they did at Stuttgart last weekend. Eintracht Frankfurt, I would like to see them get bet so I can get an underdog price, 1/4 of a goal on Gladbach. Don't think we'll see it, but I'm interested in the Topspiel home underdog there for sure. The 2 games on Sunday, and then thanks for hanging out. And we'll get to, I think this is our peak concurrent viewers. So thank you all for coming in. If you want to throw a comment in here, it will get displayed. Holstein Kiel on Sunday morning here in the United States. They host VfL Bochum in a true relegation battle, 17 versus 18, the bottom 2 in the league. Both will be eliminated automatically. Holstein Kiel, a 1/4 goal favorite at home with almost all the juice on Bochum away. Total is 3, just all the way to under. I lean to the road team, and I lean to the under 3. I think under is probably under siege because these are 2 teams that know they need 3 points, and this might be an open game. But I think they're going to be 2 teams that are going to be switching off and not really being very great defensively and knowing they can't take that many risks. So I like the push on 3, and I like the road team, though I think I like the under more. Last but not least, RB Leipzig, a 1 goal favorite at home to St. Pauli. Totals 2 3/4, just more to the under. and more juice on the on the St. Pauli side. I love the full goal of insurance. St. Pauli have been great to me and my family. Don't have a family, but besides those that birthed me and a couple sisters, but 3 sisters total. St. Pauli is a full goal underdog is worth it. They fight harder. Leipzig, it feels like a lost season. We'll see how long Marco Rosa sticks around. Xavi Simons came back for a match and they looked great. It's changed since then. So very interested in the road underdog and under, not seeing a lot of goals. So Leipzig have certainly been better at home, but if you've been living by that, you've been living in the past, brother. For the best bet or my favorite bet from Germany, I think most of these other matches I picked are on Saturday, so I'm probably going to stick with that. I feel like there's some unders calling my name here. I think Union Berlin under 2 3/4 will be my best bet in the German Bundesliga on this episode. And we've been hot lately, trying to keep that going. Had a DFB Pokal winner on the best bet with the ultimate best bet with Augsburg midweek. Maybe we keep doing that again, though I didn't pick Augsburg for this setup. So it's time for the ultimate best bet. Before we get there, I want to plug the NFL Super Bowl podcast. The last podcast we'll probably do. Maybe we do an off-season episode, but not sure because that's not as interesting to most. But _Snicker and I on Twitter, we went through the Super Bowl, both sides, how the teams got there, made their picks for the game, and we'll have best bets coming out when I get the video uploaded soon enough. College basketball need for seeds. College basketball podcast came out with Big East Ben on Friday afternoon. Should be up on pregame already. Pregame now on Twitter or wherever you get your podcasts. Search RJ Bell Stream Preview. Doing 2 a week. I think I'm 11-5 to start the season, 10-5, maybe something like that. Had some real rough luck lately, but it's been a good run. And of course, if you want picks across all sports, go to patreon.com/real_G-Warner and you can find everything I do up there. You can buy it for a day and see what it looks like, or see how many times your phone buzzes, because I basically update and notify everyone when I add plays. I add write-ups throughout the day, and so you can see what I'm thinking before it gets out there on Twitter. Of course, follow on Twitter at @real_G-Warner. But it's time for the ultimate best bet. Let me get the phone recording device ready, and then let's get into it. I also want to shout out, as I hopefully didn't shut this off. I think we're okay. I want to shout out some recent Patreon subscribers, plus, of course, the all the supporters across all everything's. But definitely want to get to my guy Big Protein is a new YouTube subscriber. Great name. Would love that explained. And I would love if you want to leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or on YouTube where you've been subscribing, Big Protein. I'd love for you to explain your name, and I'll read it out to the people because I'm sure they care as well. Man, I'm in like the shadows. I can't really understand that. Why am I doing that? Let's get out of that. Okay, great. Somehow I screwed this up. Oh yeah, I'm shouting out Patreon subscribers. David Racy, it's been great conversing with you. I guess your daughter's here in Dallas as well. So I'll see if I can find, I'll just walk around with a sign. Are you David Racy's daughter? And see what happens there. Just kidding. But thanks for signing up. Same to Chris Pendergast, Texas Preston, also Will Bond and Steven Subak. I think those are the most recent subscribers. And if we got some more, I'll shout you out, or you could tell me you don't want me to, and I will keep it anonymous. But thank you for your support. It's really important for me to keep these podcasts going, all those sort of things. And of course, always open to any feedback you may have. Other than that, I don't really know why this is doing. I want this brighter, not. I screwed something up. I don't know what I did, but I'm gonna have a very dark podcast, but maybe that's good for the dark soul. Just kidding. Don't have a soul apparently. All right, so it's time for the ultimate best bet. Let's get into it. 3, 2, and 1. Hey, this is @real_G-Warner on Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, and on YouTube. It's the ultimate best bet from the Betting the Pitch Soccer podcast. We are 29-10, 74% year to date. I go through each of the leagues that I cover in my podcast, pick up my favorite bet from each, and then smash them all together in this 1-minute video on YouTube and Instagram at @real_G-Warner. And then I pick my favorite from the FA Cup in England, like Coventry, a pick'em at home. In La Liga in Spain, I like Atletico Madrid, a half-a-goal underdog. In Serie A in Italy, I like Verona, a 1-goal underdog at home. In Ligue 1 in France, I like Saint Etienne. They are a 1/4 goal underdog at home as well. And in the German Bundesliga, I like Union Berlin, a 2 3/4 goal underdog. But for the ultimate best bet on this episode, 29-10, 74% year to date, I'm going to go with Atletico Madrid, a half-goal underdog and an extra day of rest. Yes, they're going to the Bernabeu, but they can go in there and win. I think they can go in there and draw, and that's all you need for Atleti plus 1.5 goal on the road at Real Madrid. And that'll do it for this episode. Thank you all for tuning in. Of course, check out Patreon, patreon.com. That's @real_G Warner. And you can get all my picks across all sports. Now I'm going to dive into college basketball and then wake up in 4 hours and do this all again.
Recording stopped.